In this video, we have tried to cover most of the important aspects related to winch brake rendering test and related terms which often create confusion in understanding the concept of rendering test. The length of this video is big, hence we have divided the whole video in 6 modules. For ease, the respective module number will be displayed throughout the video at upper left corner of screen. The 6 modules are Module 1 Introduction, Module 2 Various loads influencing brake capacities and rendering load, Module 3 Types of mooring winches and calculation for rendering load, Module 4 Winch brake rendering test, Module 5 Report making, Module 6 Summary. Module 1 is Introduction. In this module we will learn a brief about what is winch brake rendering test and why is it important to carry out this test.
Hello friends, in this video we will discuss about mooring winch brake rendering test, how it is carried out and what precautions we have to take while carrying out this test. So, as we know that onboard mooring winches are always designed such a way that it keeps your ship in a safe position, and it happens that when the adverse load or excessive load comes on the mooring ropes, the brake slips rather than the rope gets parted. So these brakes are adjusted in such a way that when this fluctuating load or maximum load comes on the ropes, these brakes will slip off rather than it will part the rope.
So what is winch brake rendering test?
Winch rendering test is a calibration of the winch brakes corresponding to minimum braking load, or also called as minimum braking strength of the rope used in the designing of mooring equipments. So this minimum braking load is also called as SDMBL, Ship Design Minimum Braking Load.
Why is it important to carry out this test?
This is done to prevent the accidents. This is done to prevent the damage to the mooring equipments. This is done to prevent the fatalities if the mooring rope part.
Module 2. In this module, we will learn about various loads influencing the winch brake rendering load as well as the winch brake holding capacities. These loads are SDMBL, Ship Design Minimum Braking Load, MBL, Minimum Braking Load, Design Maximum Brake Holding Capacity, Operational Minimum Brake Holding Capacity, Winch Motor Rendering, which is also called as Maximum Stall.
Before going for the actual rendering test, we will discuss various loads which are governing your winch brake rendering load as well as the winch brake capacity. So the first thing we will discuss about the ship design MBL. This is also called as SDMBL, Ship Design Minimum Braking Load. I repeat once again, when the ship is at design stage, class assign the equipment number to every ship. Then the mooring equipment arrangement manual is prepared, under which this equipment number and ship design minimum braking strength or minimum braking load of the rope is mentioned. This minimum braking load or minimum braking strength of the rope is the strength of the rope which is used in designing the mooring equipment. So let's have a look. This is the mooring fitting arrangement manual. Here if you turn over, you will find that equipment number is given here, that is given by the class, and the braking strength of the rope is given here, 480 kN. You will always find that this minimum braking strength is not same as the actual strength of the rope. This is the strength which is considered for designing the various mooring equipment. Now you will see that in this mooring equipment manual, for each and every fitting, the safe working load is mentioned, the factor of safety, and lot of things are mentioned in that. Now we understood what is ship design MBL is the minimum breaking load or minimum breaking strength of the rope which is used in the design. We have seen that it is mentioned in the mooring fitting arrangement manual. Now we go for the MBL. MBL is the minimum breaking load of the rope. This is the load at which the ropes are tested. So this MBL, this we can find out from the mooring rope certificate. This is the mooring rope certificate, and this is brake testing load. This is given by manufacturer. When we talk about the MBL, generally we refer this brake testing load. Now relation between the ship design braking load and the mooring rope MBL is that the mooring rope MBL is almost 5% more than the ship design minimum braking load, and it can be more also, more than 105, but it will never be more than the braking strength of the actual fitting, because what we need that when the excessive load adverse load come on the mooring ropes, the brake should slip and rope should not part. Simultaneously, rope strength should not be such that the entire fitting should fail. So the rope strength is always kept below the strength of the mooring fitting. Now next is the design maximum brake holding capacity. Relation between ship design MBL and design maximum brake holding capacity is that this maximum VHC is 80% of ship design MBL. This design maximum VHC is given in the mooring winch manual. This is the mooring winch specification, and we see the brake capacity of first layer. This brake capacity is always mentioned with respect to the first layer of the rope which is on the drum. This is the operational minimum brake holding capacity. So what is that? This is actually the limit of the rendering load. Up till that the brake will hold, and beyond that, if the load reaches, the brake will start slipping off. So this minimum brake holding capacity or rendering load is generally in the range of 60% of the ship design MBL, ship design minimum braking load. I again repeat, it is 60% of ship design minimum braking load and not 60% of MBL, because MBL is always higher than the SD MBL. Many people makes mistake when they calculate the rendering load. They consider the rope strength, and there the tests go wrong. So we have to take care that instead of considering your braking load which is provided by the rope manufacturer, we have to take ship design minimum braking load which is mentioned in the mooring arrangement manual. So next is the winch motor rendering. This is the actually winch motor capacity. Generally you will find a relation between maximum brake holding capacity and this mooring winch load is that these two loads, you will find that this load is equal to almost 2.5 to 3 times of this load, winch motor capacity. So suppose my winch motor capacity is here 98 kilonewton, we will see that it is almost in the range of 2.5 to 3 kilonewton. And So now we have seen various relation that ship design MBL we have considered the 100%, and then next come to the brake holding capacity of the brake, which is around 80 to 75% of ship design MBL, and then we'll come to the brake rendering load, which is almost 60% of this ship design minimum braking load, and this winch motor capacity, which is 50% of ship design minimum braking load, and mooring rope strength is almost 5% more than the ship design braking load. So next we will move to the calculation part, how we calculate rendering load.
Module 3. In this module, we will learn about difference between split drum mooring winches and non-split drum mooring winches. Calculation for calculating rendering load, which is nothing but the calculation of jack-up force and hydraulic jack pressure used for carrying out the rendering test.
Before switching over to calculation part, we must ensure what kind of mooring winch drum it is, because calculation of rendering load depends upon type of mooring winch drum. As we know, there are two types of mooring winch. One is the divided or split drum mooring winch. Another is winch which has got the undivided mooring winch drum. In split drum mooring winches, the whole drum is divided with the help of split flange in two parts. One part stores all the layers of the rope, and the same rope passes through this cut in the split flange, and only a single layer is stored on the other part, and then this rope passes through the fair leads and other mooring equipment, and this span is used for mooring the rope alongside the jetty. Now in undivided winch drum, we can see that number of layers are stored on the whole drum. In this photo, you can see there are two separate drums on the common shaft run by the common motor, but these are not divided drums. This is single drum, but two single drums on a common shaft. Here, this whole drum is divided with the help of split flange. So this is the common difference between a split drum mooring winch and a non-split drum mooring winch.
Now let's go for the calculation for jack-up force and hydraulic jack pressure in detail.
Rendering load calculation for both the mooring winches are different. In this video, you will understand why the calculation for both the drums are different and why same calculation cannot be used for both type of mooring winch drums. As we have seen earlier, in split drum mooring winches, all the time a single layer of the rope on the winch drum is in use. Whereas in non-split drum mooring winches, the winch drum is having number of layers of the rope all the time in use. So number of layers of the rope varies depending upon the distance between the mooring point alongside to the ship. If the distance between the mooring point alongside and the ship is more, then there will be less number of layers of the rope on the mooring winch drum, and if the distance is less, then there will be more number of layers of the rope on the mooring winch drum. Now come to the calculation part. The calculation is done to calculate the required hydraulic jack pressure and jack-up force in advance to carry out the winch brake rendering test. That will help in deciding at what point the brakes are rendering, or whether the brake tightening indicators required for the adjustment or not. These brake tightening indicators indicates that the brake to be tightened up to that mark. These are few examples of brake tightening indicators. These are the examples of brake tightening. These are the correct examples of putting the indicators. These are few wrong examples of putting the indicators. Now these indicators need to be tightened or adjusted according to the outcome of the winch brake rendering test. These indicators not to be put in this region at it may hamper the normal working of the brakes. As here it is shown that these lockings or these kind of lockings have been put in this region, hence not acceptable, and it may impair with the normal working of the brakes. And as well as if you require to tighten these brakes further, it may not allow you to tighten further. These pictures shows the arrangement of carrying out the winch brake rendering test on split drum mooring winch and the non-split drum mooring winches. Let's understand with the help of force lever diagram how we drive the formula for jack up force and hydraulic jack pressure. This is split drum mooring winch on which a single layer of the rope is in use. This is the winch drum. Here it is shown in this split drum mooring winch. This is this drum on which a single layer of the rope is always in use. Here you can see it is a single layer of the rope. So this is my winch drum. Here is a single layer of the rope in use all the time. This is payout direction of the rope. This is split flange of the winch drum. This is this flange of the winch drum. This is the special tool for carry out the winch brake rendering test. This tool is provided by the yard or the maker. This is the hydraulic jack with the help of which we apply the required jack up force to carry out the winch brake rendering test. Now come to the force lever diagram. This is my fulcrum point. This is my lever. Around this fulcrum point, this winch drum rotates. When the system is in equilibrium and the brakes are tightening to the required point, there is no movement in the lever and there is no movement in the winch drum. The rope tension acts downward, and in that condition the brake force acts opposite to that downward. So in this condition the system remains in equilibrium. Suppose my tension in the rope is timing is TR and this brake force is F3. Here we have got a lever available is capital D plus small d by 2. Capital D is the diameter of winch drum, small d is the diameter of rope. With the combination of this lever and the rope tension, a torque is generated into this winch drum which tries to rotate this winch drum into the clockwise direction, which will be opposed by this winch brake force. Now how much maximum torque is counteracted by this winch brake before slipping? Now suppose before slipping my TR become T, where T is the maximum tension corresponding to the operational minimum brake holding capacity. As we know that with the help of this diagram, we will understand that my winch brakes to be tightened to the 60% of ship design MBL, that is ship design minimum braking load, and this is operational minimum brake holding capacity up till which my brakes to be adjusted. This is 60%, this is 100%. So here TR become T, which is maximum tension in the rope corresponding to the operational minimum brake holding capacity, which is equal to 60% of SDMBL. So how much torque is generated due to this maximum tension, that I will write here. Suppose this torque is torque 1. So torque 1 equals to T into D plus D by 2. So this much torque will be counteracted by the winch brakes before slipping. Now I carry out the winch brake rendering test. For that I tighten my brake to the required point. I put this special tool, hydraulic jack. Now pressurize this jack to the required hydraulic jack pressure and put a force here to make the winch brakes render. L is the lever available, which is nothing but the distance of the jack center and the winch center. So before slipping, how much maximum torque will be counteracted by the winch brakes, that I will write here. So suppose this maximum torque which is counteracted by the winch brakes before slipping is torque 2. Become F into L. Now both these torque 1 and torque 2 are the maximum torque faced by the winch brakes just before the slipping. So I can equate these torque 1 and torque 2. So I write here torque 1 equals to torque 2. So here I write T into D plus dy 2 is equal to F into L. If I simplify it, I can write here F is equal to T into D plus dy 2 into L. So if you see this formula and this Jacob force formula is same. So now you understood how we derived this formula. Now to convert this Jacob force into pressure, we can use pressure is equal to force upon area, and with the help of that we can calculate the required hydraulic jack pressure to carry out the winch brake rendering test. In this formula we know that all the parameters are known in advance. Hence calculating the Jacob force is easier. Here the D is known, capital D, which is the winch drum diameter, is known, small d is known, L can be measured, T is the maximum tension, which we know that it is corresponding to the 60% of SDMBL. We know the value of SDMBL, hence Jacob force calculation is easier. In this arrangement, the point of rendering of brakes can be calculated in advance, and the brake can be adjusted to according to the outcome of the brake rendering test. Now come to the non-split drum mooring winches. Here the arrangement to carry out the winch brake rendering test is similar to the non-split drum mooring winches. The only difference is here in split drum type mooring winches, only a single layer of the rope is in use always. Because of this, the lever available to generate the torque in the winch is fixed, and because of that the operational winch brake holding capacity is also fixed. Here in the non-split drum mooring winches, the number of layers of the ropes are always in use, and these number of layers can vary depending upon the distance of the ship from the mooring point alongside. Now suppose this I name as a layer 1, this is layer 2, this is layer 3, this is layer 4. Now with the help of force lever diagram, we will see that this is my fulcrum point around which the winch drum rotates. This is my lever available with respect to the layer 1, also called as first layer. I name it as L1. This is my lever available with respect to second layer. This is my lever available with respect to third layer, and this is my lever available with respect to fourth layer. So here we have got the 4 layers, we have got the 4 different lever, L1, L2, L3. We'll write the value of these levers here. L1 is equal to capital D plus small d by 2. L2 is equal to D plus 3D by 2. L3 is equal to D plus 5D by 2. L4 is equal to D plus 7D by 2. So here L1 is smaller than L2, L2 is smaller than L3, and L3 is smaller than L4. Here we see that the lever is increasing with the number of layers on the winch drum. Tension in these layers are different. This is tension T1 acting downward. This is tension T2 on the second layer acting downward. Tension T3 acting downward. Tension 4 acting downward. Here these are the maximum tension in the layers of the rope just before the slipping of the brake. So my T1 is greater than T2, is greater than T3, is greater than T4. Now to counteract these torque generated by the tension in the rope, my brake force acts downward. I have tightened my brakes to a fixed point and the brake force will act downward. Suppose this brake force is FV. Now to keep the system in equilibrium, my brake will subject to different load. So I am finding that when my number of layers are less, brake is able to hold the maximum load. If number of layers are increasing, the same the brake which have tightened to the same point is able to take up the lesser load in the rope. This is my lever for the brake, you can say. Here we can see when my number of layers are increasing, the brakes are rendering at the lesser load, and when the number of layers are reducing, the brakes are rendering at a greater load. Hence, in this arrangement, we cannot fix our operational brake holding capacity because my lever is continuously changing with the change of number of layers, and it is very difficult to find out a fixed point where I can say my brake to be tightened up to this point. Because of this, the required jack-up force and the hydraulic jack pressure cannot be pre-calculated using the similar calculation as used for the split drum mooring winches. For calculating the jack-up force and the hydraulic jack pressure, we have to approach the yard or the maker. They will suggest how many layers of the rope to be used for the calculation purpose. They may also suggest any factor of safety need to be put in the calculation. They may also suggest another way of doing the calculation for calculating the jack-up force and hydraulic jack pressure. Since in this arrangement the operational brake holding capacity is not fixed, hence we cannot put any brake tightening indicators which tells that my brakes to be tightened up to that point. And moreover, you will not find any brake tightening indicators in these kind of mooring winches which required to be adjusted or calibrated.
Module 4. Now let's have a look how the winch brake rendering test is carried out. Make sure necessary risk assessment has been carried out before performing this test, and the person doing the test is fully aware with the system in order to prevent accidents and damage to the mooring equipment.
If the brake capacity is more than the braking limit of the rope, there might be chances that the rope may break instead of slipping of the brake. So brakes are always designed to slip at the maximum load. So how to check this? For checking this, we are always carrying out a test called rendering test, brake rendering test. We check that at what load these brakes give way. So for checking, always makers or yard supply certain tools. These are the tools which are provided by the yard, and we will use these tools for checking this landing test. Winches are also provided to the facility, that these tools will be fitted in this place. These holes are provided to fit the tool in this place, and with the help of this jack, we will give the load required to make the jack to slip. So let's see how this landing test is carried out. So we'll first take these holes in a position so that we could fit our tool. Some more. Okay. Lock it. Disengage. And tight the brake. Yeah, you can switch off the pump now. Pin, keep the pin ready. Okay, so now this tool is fitted. Okay, now take these packings in position. Now put the jack. So while putting jack, you have to make sure that there is not much clearance between jack and the tool. Otherwise, you may not get the full force of the jack on the tool, and it may mislead the result. Make sure the jack is in the correct position. It should be exactly in the center of this pin. And we have to measure the distance between this center to center line of the shaft of the winch. So for measuring that, we can use this measuring tape. Make sure now the brake is fully tight. Now we'll put a mark on the brake so that we'll come to know that when it starts slipping. Okay. Before putting the hydraulic jack, make sure the pump is already filled up with the hydraulic oil and there is no air in the system. Okay, raise the pressure. Raise. Okay, raise. Now I think start. Okay, raise. Slipping. Okay, slip. It's not going anymore. So you will see that even with the number of pumping, the pressure is not increasing that much. That means the brake has started slipping off. So now we can read our pressure as 80 bar around. This is finished with the rendering test, and now we will enter this pressure in our table and we'll see how much percentage of brake capacity it is. So this will give a fair picture whether brake need to be adjusted or not. We'll see it later on after putting this value in our calculation sheet. Release the pressure, remove the jack and remove the tool and make the system normal.
Now come to the report part. So this is my report of mooring winch brake rendering test. Here we write the ship name, date, and here is the make of winch, drum type, whether the non-split drum or the split drum type, equipment number. Equipment number we can find out from the mooring fitting arrangement manual. Here it is the equipment number 2382. This is now this is the rated capacity. This we can find out from the mooring winch manual. Brake capacity of first layer, this also we can find out from the mooring winch manual. Brake limit of the rope, that we can find out from the rope manufacturer's certificate. This calculation part we have already seen in the earlier video. Here I will like to tell one thing, that area A is the hydraulic jack area which is under pressure. This is stamped on the hydraulic jack, so we can directly take this from the hydraulic jack. So now come to this table. Here is the drum number. Each mooring winch drum is identified. So we have tabulated our mooring winch drums here. Now this is designed brake holding capacity of first layer. As we know that all the brake holding capacities are mentioned in mooring winch manual with respect to the first layer. So we have tabulated here. Though this parameter is not contributing and in any calculation, just for the reference purpose we have written here. Ship design minimum braking load, that is also called as SDMBL. This we can find out from here, mooring winch fitting arrangement manual. As we know that this is mooring fitting arrangement manual. This we can find out from here. Braking strength 480. This is my SDMBL. So here I have written SDMBL as 480 kilonewton. Diameter of drum 440, that is from the mooring winch manual we can find out. Diameter of rope also we can find out from the mooring winch manual. Distance drum center to jack center, that we can measure with the help of the measuring tape. Operational minimum brake holding capacity, which is 60% of SDMBL. That means this value is 60% of this value. Now the jack-up force corresponding to 60% SDMBL. With the help of this formula we have calculated this jack-up force, where T is the maximum tension in rope corresponding to the operational minimum brake holding capacity. This operational minimum brake holding capacity is this. Now with the help of this formula, we have calculated this hydraulic jack pressure. After calculating this part, we carry out the winch brake rendering test. We see that the brake should hold at least up till this point. If it is suppose slipping before, then we have to adjust such that it should hold up till this point, or if it is not slipping at this point, then we have to raise the pressure beyond this pressure and check that at what point the brakes are rendering. In this condition, the brakes are rendering just above this pressure. Now we have converted this pressure again into the force, and we have find out that how much force it is exerting, and now comparing this force with this SDMBL, and we are calculating how much percentage of this SDMBL this force is. So my brakes are slipping at 62.75%. We can see that my brakes are slipping just near to the calculated jack up force or hydraulic jack pressure. So my this test results is correct. Now after tabulating everything, we prepare the report and send it to office. After carrying out the winch brake rendering test, we stencil this value on the respective Muri winch drum. Module 6 is summary. In this module, we have highlighted all the main points for carrying out the rendering test in safe and correct manner.
Again, I say first make a risk assessment. Second thing, you see what kind of winch, mooring winch you have on board, whether it is a split type or a non-split type. If it is a split type mooring winch, you use the same calculation as I have shown in this video. If it is a undivided drum or non-split type mooring winch and the procedure of rendering test is not on board, please contact the maker or the yard. They will provide you the full info for carrying out this rendering test. We have to always take care that there is a difference between the calculation of undivided drum and the split drum. Third thing is must know that there is a difference between the MBL and the ship design MBL. The common mistakes what people do, they consider MBL, minimum braking load, which is provided by the rope manufacturer for calculating the rendering load. That is not correct. So for calculating your rendering test, always take ship design minimum braking load, which is mentioned in mooring equipment manual. And fourth thing, what people mistake is that when the calculated hydraulic jack pressure has reached and brakes are still holding, they consider that the rendering test is over. That is not correct. We have to press some more and we have to see at what pressure the brakes are rendering. So if the brakes are not rendering, then we have to readjust our brakes and readjust our indicator. And finally, the indicator should be set in such a way that it should not hinder the normal operation of the brake. So that's how you can carry out the whole rendering test on the mooring equipment, and you can keep your equipment in the safe manner. Make the report and send it to your office. Office may also take the advice of the maker or the yard that whether these tests have been carried out properly or the values are okay or not. And if you want further information, you can refer few articles on internet. Like there is an article from RightShip on the winch brake rendering test. There are information on OCIMF site, Oil Company International Forum site. They suggest Marine Equipment Guide 4 for carrying out the rendering test on these equipment. So I think if you follow these guidelines, you can correctly go for the rendering test, and you can keep your equipments in the healthy and safe condition. Thank you very much for watching this video. In case you have any doubt or any query, you can always write to me on support@marinetex.com, and you can also visit my site www.marinetex.com. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.